Hi, and welcome to the iPhone Life podcast. I'm Donna Cleveland, editor-in-chief at iPhone Life.
I'm David Averbach, CEO and publisher.
Each episode, we bring to you the best apps, top tips, and great gear in the iOS world. First, we have a message from our sponsor.
So today's sponsor is Matias, and I'm going to tell you about the Ergo Pro. So a few things I love about this. Let me put this down so you all can see my face. You know how on those old school keyboards, when you would type, you could actually feel the typing as you were doing it, the little clicking noise?
Yeah.
That's called a mechanical keyboard. And the reason why, in a lot of ways, it's better is it gives you a tactile feedback as you're typing. And so a lot of people
very satisfying.
it's very satisfying. It actually allows you to type faster. So this is a mechanical keyboard, but it's a quiet one. So it doesn't make that annoying clicking noise, but you get that tactile feedback. So unlike Apple's keyboards, which don't have any tactile feedback and everyone complains about, this has that. It also, of course, because it's an ergonomic keyboard, has a lot of really cool features. It lets you split the keyboard up into two parts so that you have a more natural spacing for your hand, has a really comfortable pad, and they just came out with a new model, and the new model has this really cool feature where you can do programmable shortcuts. So let's say you have a sentence you type 10 times a day. You can just hit one key and it'll just type that sentence for you.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah,
cool.
So if you're looking for an ergonomic keyboard, this is a really high quality one. You can go to matias.ca, or we will link to it in our show notes at iPhoneLife.com/podcast.
Thanks, David. Next, I want to tell you about our daily tip offering. We have a free newsletter that you can sign up for that once you've signed up, you get a 1-minute tip in your inbox every day that teaches you something cool you can do with your phone that you most likely didn't know before. You go to iPhoneLife.com/daily tips to sign up. Let's talk about our favorite tip this week. I wanted to talk about how to use the self-timer in your iPhone camera. This is a tip a lot of people already know how to use, but some people don't.
I assumed most people did, but the other day I literally had someone be like, wait, can you have your phone take a picture for you?
Yeah, I think it's one of those features there's a lot of confusion around. Do you need a remote shutter to use it?
And even if at one point you remember it exists, it's a nice one to a nice reminder because it is so useful when you want to do group photos. I hate when people are like, oh, I just won't be in this photo.
I know.
And you're like, wait, this is a very solvable problem.
Yes. So as David said, the self-timer is awesome for when you don't want to take a selfie, basically. Either you want a shot that's further back, but you want to be in the photo, or for group shots, it's really great. The only tricky thing is, so you want to use the self-timer, but you also the other thing you have to figure out is where you're placing your phone. You might need a tripod to set up what you're trying to take a picture of, or just to place it at the right angle on a desk or something like that. But anyway, this tip will just talk about the self-timer, how you activate that, and we'll let you figure out how to set up the tripod, or we can talk about that another episode.
That is the downfall of the self-timer, is figuring out how to position the camera.
Yeah, actually also having a pop socket like this is nice.
Oh, there you go.
So to access the self-timer, you open the camera app. You, let's see, there's a little upward facing arrow at the top of your display. When you hit that, the menu shows up above your shutter button. And one of the icons is a clock icon. That's the one you want to tap. And then you have a 3-second option and a 10-second option. So 3 seconds if you want to just quickly run into your shot. 10 seconds gives you a little more time to leisurely figure out your shot before the picture is actually taken. You can do this in the selfie mode, or the front-facing camera, or the back-facing camera, which is nice.
And there's pros and cons to that, because the front-facing camera is really nice because it's a little bit, you can see the shot as you're taking it, but the back camera is a lot higher quality. So in general, I recommend using that back camera, even though you're not going to be able to see the shot, but it's tricky because then you sometimes don't get the right shot.
Yeah, I think for the front, if you're using the higher quality back-facing camera, that's more of a situation where you'd want to be using a tripod. For instance, if you're having a party where you have a photo booth, you could have your camera, the shot's already all set up. You have the area where people stand, and you have a self-timer on. So all people have to do is tap the 10-second timer, walk into the photo, take it, and leave. That's one situation where you could use this feature. So that's pretty much it. The self-timer feature is very useful, and I think that like with iOS 13 it's changed a little bit how you
Yeah,
access
it's
it. That little
moved.
arrow didn't used to be there. That wasn't how you used to get to it.
And it's kind of hidden now, so it's a nice refresher of where it is. Can I give you a couple bonus tips?
Yes.
So number one, we talked about a tripod. Do you remember the name of Rand's favorite tripod?
It's the Joby.
Yeah,
Grip Tight, I
So
think.
it's a really cool tripod because it's pretty small and portable. So I do recommend if you find yourself in a position taking group photos regularly, that you get one of those tripods, especially if you're going to family events or where you know you're going to take group photos, because it's really convenient. And I don't know about you, but like because I almost always have the newest iPhone, I'm almost always the one taking the photo because I want to make sure it's on the nicest camera. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My second bonus tip for people who have an Apple Watch, you can have a shutter on your Apple Watch and you can actually see the shot. So if you open up your camera app on your Apple Watch, you can see the shot, make sure everybody's in the frame and looks nice. And then instead of having to do the self timer, which then you're like running around and getting set up, you just tap it on your Apple Watch.
It's pretty awesome.
But you do want to make sure you're still doing a 3-second delay. Otherwise, the shot's always going to be you taking a photo or staring
that's
at your
a good
Apple
point.
Watch.
Yeah, I didn't think of that.
Yeah, I think by default it is a 3-second delay on that, but it is a really nice feature that I sometimes forget about. So
Yeah, I've fallen out of the habit of wearing my Apple Watch lately. I need to get back to it.
I'm
'Cause
loving
there
it.
are like lots of little features that make it useful.
Yeah, I just got the newest model and I'm really enjoying it.
Cool. Next, we want to tell you about our premium educational platform that's called iPhone Life Insider. And when you subscribe, you get access to video versions of the daily tips. And not only that, but also our full library of in-depth guides on topics from your iPad, how to use your iPad, to all the new features of iOS 13. You also get a full archive of iPhone Life magazine that we have more than 30 back issues. And you also get, of course, all the new issues. Ask an Editor, which allows you to ask any of your tech questions to one of our experts and will help guide you to a solution. And you also get a version of this podcast that has no ads and has exclusive premium content as well.
Including this one.
Yes.
We cut this ad out for you all. And I just want to do a quick plug we just released a new guide. It's the iPhone 11 Pro camera guide, and it's amazing. I feel like it might be the best guide we've ever done.
I think it for sure is. Yeah.
So if you have an iPhone 11 Pro, make sure you go check this guide out if you're already an insider. Otherwise, go subscribe, become an insider. And it actually has a lot of features for anyone who has an iPhone, not just the iPhone 11 Pro. Because things like we were just talking about, a lot of changes happened in iOS 13 where things in the camera app got moved around or they added new features, and we cover all of that. So even if you have an older phone, it's really worth checking out.
Yeah, Rayanne is our video producer here, and she is a really amazing photographer. So she created this guide. So it's fun not only to learn about how to access all the features, but to get some tips on how to get really beautiful shots like she gets.
Yeah.
Also, we have more people creating guides now. We've been expanding our team. So we have coming up, we have a few guides coming out. We're definitely ramping up our production. So it's a really good time to become an insider. And you get 30% off for being a podcast listener.
Which is new. It used to be $5 off, and now it's 30% off, y'all.
Yeah, so this is awesome. Go to iPhoneLife.com/podcast discount, and you'll get 30% off. We highly recommend you go sign up now, and we'll see you on the inside. Now let's talk about our question this week. We have our premium subscribers to iPhone Life Insider who write in with questions, and right now Cullen instead of Sarah is answering their questions. So I have a question from an insider that I'll read to you now. I really like keeping my iPhone in dark mode, except for when I'm searching and reading on the web. Some sites don't work and others don't read well. Is there any way to have my phone always in dark mode for everything else, but set Safari to normal? Sincerely, Browsing in the Dark. Dear Browsing, you can't customize which apps are in dark mode, but you can make it easy to quickly turn dark mode off and on by adding dark mode to your control center. So to add dark mode to control center, you go to Settings, Control Center, and then you tap Customize Controls. And if you scroll down, you'll see dark mode as one of the options and tap the green plus icon next to that. And you can choose which order you want it to show up in your control center as well. From there, now when you go to Control Center, you can just tap the little icon for dark mode, which let me remember what it looks like. It's hard to describe. It's a circle with one side that's light and one side that's dark, basically. You tap that, and so you can switch back and forth between light mode and dark mode. Light mode is, of course, just what Apple used to always use.
I definitely recommend having that in general. This was a really good use case, and it's a good complaint because it is really annoying if you're using dark mode, then all of a sudden Safari's like blasting you with the white light from a website that isn't supporting it. But I find there's a bunch of times where I'm wanting to switch back and forth for random reasons, and so adding it is nice. And also, for some reason, if you're lazy and you don't want to add it, you can still get there from the control center. If you long press on the brightness, it's by default there as well. So there's two ways to access it from control center. One is to add a shortcut, and the other is to long press on brightness.
And the other thing I wanted to mention is that while Apple doesn't let you control dark mode per app, that what we're talking about with that is Apple's built-in apps. So you either have dark mode on or off for everything in that way, but third-party apps usually in their settings allow you to turn dark mode on and off if it's an app that supports this feature. Mm-hmm. So that's something to keep in mind. So if you're using another browser besides Safari, you might have that option there.
Or Facebook or Messenger. Actually, does Facebook have a dark mode? I don't think they do.
I don't think so.
Instagram does.
Yeah, Instagram does, and
Messenger
I'm trying to remember
does.
some of the other apps that do.
But Messenger, at least last I checked, they might have changed it. It was only controlled through that setting. In other words, what Instagram does, which I love, is it goes to my default control. In other words, during the day, Instagram will be light, and at night it'll be dark. But Messenger is like all or nothing. You either have to just have it be dark all the time or light all the time, or go control it separately, which really annoys me.
I feel like because this is still a somewhat new feature, third-party app developers haven't really quite mastered it or figured it out yet. Like a lot of apps don't even have it yet, and it varies whether, like David said, whether you control it through just your regular dark mode controls, like we just talked about, or from that app setting. So you have to do a little digging around to see.
I really appreciate apps that have it, though.
Yeah.
That goes a long way.
One thing I will say is I haven't had the same problem that this user has of feeling like apps don't work, like websites don't work well with dark mode in Safari. Have you?
You know, I feel like for the most part, I've just had websites not render in dark mode, even if I'm in dark mode. So it's like if I go to like Google, it's not dark.
Yeah, that's true.
It still works well. I can use it like I normally would, but it is like annoyingly bright when I'm used to the dark mode palette.
Right. So there's more of a contrast.
Yeah.
Right. We have a comment from a listener from our last podcast I thought I would read out now. It's Marianne. She wrote in saying, "Hi, I always love your podcasts." And she's referring to, we just added closed captioning to our podcast. She said, David's last name was misspelled on your transcript. I wanted to let you know that we were just figuring out closed captioning. So we figured out how to correct those misspellings. So this episode, you shouldn't have that problem.
Oh, thank God.
And I did want to just take a moment to talk about closed captioning. If you're listening to this podcast or watching it through our insider site or on our website, you can click in the bottom right corner of the video screen to turn on or off closed captioning, and it's CC symbol there is how you turn it on and off.
And we're starting to do that too in our guides. We're really excited because we have gotten a lot of feedback from some of our older listeners or just anybody who's hard of hearing, and they've wanted this for a long time. So we're really excited to add it for you all.
Yes, definitely. Okay, so back to Marianne. She says, my favorite podcast is The Drive by Peter Attia. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. You all would love how amazing it is. He's brilliant, cutting-edge doctor who's interested in longevity and interviews a wide range of guests. My app recommendation is Zero. It's a fasting app, good for time-restricted eating. Explore and enjoy. Marianne.
Oh man, I'm gonna check out the podcast. I am not good with intermittent fasting. That does not work for me very well.
It definitely is a big trend right now. I've been curious to try to skip breakfast, which I actually by accident did this morning. And so if you hear my stomach growling, that's why. I don't think it's for me, but probably a lot of our listeners would be interested in that. So and since no one here has that kind of willpower, it's nice to have our listeners telling us about them.
Yeah, there you go. Let us know. I regularly skip breakfast, so I guess I
Really?
Yeah, I never have been. Like my entire life, I've never been a breakfast person.
Well, then you're fully
I guess is that what I'm doing?
Fasting.
Okay? I take back every mean thing I said about intermittent fasting, but
Yeah, because you're allowed to drink coffee, and that still counts.
I'm definitely drinking my coffee. I'll hold it up for the camera.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about apps and gear for this week. Do you have any recommendations, David?
Let's do it. I do. Let me check. Oh, I have a fun one. I have taken my smart home to the next level. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
I have a smart trash can now.
What?
Okay.
How does that work?
It has a sensor, so when I get close to it, it opens up. Or
that's so
I can say
cool.
open can, and it'll open.
Okay, that's amazing. I have an electronic trash can, and I feel like you totally went up to me. You like kick the front of it, and it opens, and it's so nice. So now
I watched you do that last time I was at your house, and when you weren't looking, tried to figure out how to do it myself, and I couldn't get there. And I was
You're
just
just there, like,
waving
kicking
my foot around, trying to figure out what to do. And then I was like, maybe I imagined it.
No, it totally is a thing. And it's really nice because a lot of times in the kitchen, you have your hands full or you have food.
Yes.
And you don't want to, get food on your trash can. So.
Well, and also I have a dog who loves to stick her face in my trash. And so now she can't because it's closed. It
Well,
has a
when
lid.
she walks by, will it open? Because is it emotion activated?
You have to get really close to open. Every once in a while, she'll accidentally open it, but it scares her so much that she
That she
runs
doesn't try to
away
eat
and she
anything?
doesn't try to eat anything.
That's funny.
But it's actually, I discovered it in a roundabout way because I wasn't discovering it as a tech journalist. I discovered it because I love this company. It's called Simple Human. Have you ever heard of them?
Yeah, actually, that sounds familiar.
They
but
specialize in trash cans, which
okay,
I just
really want one now.
really love a company that just takes one thing and specializes. Actually, it's funny that we're talking about it because Matthias is one of my favorite tech companies for that reason. They just go all in on the keyboard and they keep refining it. So they're like that. They have they use high quality materials. They have high quality trash cans. And my favorite thing, and it's such a silly little thing, but they have trash bags that are designed to exactly fit your trash can. Because
So
it
nice.
drives me insane when I'm always trying to figure out the right size and you have this weird bunchy large trash bag in a small trash can or something. So I have a bunch of their trash cans. They're annoyingly expensive, just to warn everybody who goes and now looks these up.
How much? What's the damage here, David?
I mean, you can get cheaper ones. Like I have a really small one in my bathroom for like $20, $30. But this one I think ranges between $200 and $250.
Oh, wow.
So it's expensive, but it's a dual. So I have it in my kitchen and it has both the trash part and the recycling in one unit, which I really like. And then there's this other really nice feature where there's a little slot for the trash bags behind that fits in. So when you empty the bag, you can just pull another trash bag out.
Oh, yeah, that sounds so
Yeah.
I hate putting trash bags in there. This definitely would be really nice.
They thought it through.
Wow.
So I'm enjoying that. That was my latest accessory for my house.
Okay, cool.
What do you got?
I have a couple apps I wanted to talk about. Two of them are actually Apple Watch app recommendations from my nephew. He's 17 and just got an Apple Watch. And I was talking to him about one of the reasons I like my Apple Watch is that it doesn't suck me in the way my phone does, that you can just, address your notifications and be on your way. And he's like, well, actually on your Apple Watch, there are apps that do make you want to stare at it forever. But he was happy about it. And his apps were Pong is a game. And he showed me, I got to see it on his phone, on his Apple Watch. And Pong is an app that is actually quite playable on an Apple Watch.
Okay, so but is it the old school Pong?
Yeah, it's old school Pong.
That's so cool. Okay.
Which I have appreciation for old. I like really simple games if I'm going to play any at all. And so I thought that was a good thing. And then Reddit, he said, has a really good interface and you can just really get deep into Reddit threads on your Apple Watch if you want to.
Wow.
Which I should tell Raph about.
You should.
Raph is our CTO and he is always telling us weird Reddit stories that he finds.
Yeah, you're either a Reddit person or you're not.
Yeah.
But I guess here's my critique.
Okay.
almost always have my phone with me when I'm on my Apple Watch. So I don't know why I wouldn't just take out my phone and read Reddit on my phone.
Well, I guess if you have the cellular version, maybe.
Yeah. Or
like Tyler, my husband has the cellular Apple Watch, and he's been a lot lately just taking that with him and leaving his phone behind.
Yeah, then it makes sense.
Yeah. But with my nephew, I don't know. I think he got it for Christmas, so he's probably like enjoying the novelty of it a little bit. It'll be interesting to check back to see if that still would be his preferred way to read Reddit, or if he wouldn't just choose his phone. Because you're right, it really is hard on the eyes after a while to just be looking at the Apple Watch for extended periods of time.
And Instagram has an Apple Watch app, and it's pretty well designed, and I have it on my watch, but like I would never use it because it's like so small.
Yeah, that seems silly.
Yeah.
I mean, for viewing photos, you'd want a bigger display.
Yeah.
So the other app I wanted to tell you about that I'm slightly sheepish about admitting to using, but is kind of fun, it's called The Pattern. And it's funny because Channing Tatum, who, of course, I love, tweeted about this a while back where he was saying how he'd like gone to therapy and then downloaded this app, and basically the app told him all of the same things as he'd been talking about in therapy and how spooky it was, how accurate it was. So it's an astrology app, and it gives you a reading and tells you things about, your personality and life patterns. I had sworn to myself that I don't believe in astrology at all. And so I was downloading it just for fun because, of Channing Tatum, basically. But I did find it to be fun and interesting. It did feel like a lot of stuff it said resonated with me. And you can also connect with friends on it, and it'll analyze your friendship with them. So it's kind of a fun social thing to do. So I'm doing that with my friends right now.
I have also used it. Although when you told me the origin story, you didn't mention Channing Tatum. Somehow that part slipped your mind.
Yeah.
And I had the same reaction where I really did not want to like it, but also found it to be weirdly accurate. And also, like, I don't know that I want to believe in astrology, but if I do believe in astrology, I want to believe it's like this mystical, like, spiritual thing that could not possibly be like derived from an AI on an app.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it really bothers me on a lot of levels, but I also enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think it made me realize that I'm just more like I'm more open-ended in terms of like if I get some value out of this and it feels like it resonates, then why not?
Yeah.
But I feel like definitely take it with a grain of salt and probably use it more with a sense of just entertainment being the purpose of it. But I think it's worth a download and giving a try.
Yeah.
So you have to enter in your birth date and location. Not just your birthday and like time of day you were born to.
It definitely is much. I prefer that a lot to like the horoscope, where it's just like 1 in 12 people has the same horoscope as you.
Yeah,
it's more accurate than that, maybe.
All right, we need to come up with a question of the week. We didn't think of one ahead of time. Do you have one?
Yeah, let's just lean
What's
into
your pattern?
this. Yeah, do you all have you used this app? Are you astrology people? Did we lose you all?
Yeah, are we suckers?
Are we suckers? Let us know. We won't take it personally. We clearly already feel like suckers.
Yeah, email podcast@iPhoneLife.com. Or like question of the week, do you like Channing Tatum too? Okay, moving right along. That is actually all we have for this
that's all
week.
We got, guys.
Thank you so much for tuning in. This is a short episode, and stick around if you're an insider because we have some exclusive content just for you.
Thanks, everyone.